The unit that we're working on right now is about a 2-week unit. We are focusing on the story The Lottery by Shirley Jackson because our big idea for the next 2 weeks is about tradition and culture. It really gets the kids thinking about what it means to actually have a tradition and should traditions be stopped and how different cultures believe that those traditions are right. And really good conversations come out of that.
In what ways do we see people not care about tradition in the story we're reading right now? Discuss in your groups. 30 seconds. Go.
People don't discuss it in groups because the lady was late for the ceremony about the lottery thing. She didn't care because if she would have cared, she would have been on time, and she was not on time.
They say that too. Old man Warner got mad.
Yeah, and old man Warner was fussing about it.
And they didn't really care about that either.
He didn't get mad. He got mad. He didn't think it was a good idea, and he just was mad about it. He didn't care. He was disobeying the tradition.
I heard really good conversations from this table over here. Tell me, in what ways do we see them not caring about this tradition anymore? Track Alexis, please.
Thank you. I said, like when Waller's mad because like he thinks that they'll quit their jobs and stuff, and he's talking about how they can go back to living in caves for not participating, and the tradition will be canceled. And he doesn't want it to be canceled because he's been doing it for a long time.
I think you have the moment right. But in what ways, when they come together in the square, do we see them, Algernon, in what ways do we see them not wanting to participate in the same way?
Thank you. Like, they're not doing the pledge anymore. They're not singing it and all that. And then, like the lady, she all late for us, so it's not like a big important thing anymore.
The lady? What's her name, Hans? What's her name?
The woman's name from the text is Miss Hutchinson.
Very nicely done. Thank you. It is time now to transition. We have teacher versus student game to have today. Very quickly, 5 points each. Question number 1 is define protagonist. It has 2 parts of the definition. 30 seconds. I'll call on anyone. Go.
We don't need one shitty people.
Stop the problem. Like stop it from happening. Solve the problem.
The protagonist is like the main character trying to solve the main problem in the story.
I like all that except the word problem. What word do I want instead, please?
Conflict.
Oh. Thank you. Question number 2, I will give you your points, obviously. Define antagonist. 30 seconds, go.
Creates the conflict.
And causes the problem.
2 C words.
Conflict.
Well, the character.
Oh, the character that
causes and continues.
Oh, continues it.
The
conflict.
Good. Thank you very much. Question number 3. Which one is more important to the story? Protagonist or antagonist? Discuss.
I said that the antagonist is the most important because without the antagonist, there wouldn't be a conflict.
They both equal. I think it's equal because without the protagonist, without the
helper,
the antagonist, you won't have a problem, and without the protagonist, the problem won't get solved.
I dig it. You know what else I dig? Finishing a really good story. Let's do it now. See the lottery on your desk? We are on page 6.
So before we can really dig deeply into a story like The Lottery, I believe they have to be able to comprehend the text just on a surface level. So we start the unit by reading large sections of the text aloud. I read it aloud, they read it together, they whisper read it, and then we answer basic comprehension questions so that they understand what's going on. So some of the supports that I build in for my ESL students and really low-level readers are I read the story into my computer and give it to them on disk so that they can listen to it at home ahead of time and just kind of get a sense of the story.
There are Post-it notes in the center of your island. You and your group have 1 minute to collect together main character names and anything important that has happened in the story so far. 1 recorder, everyone helps. 1 minute, go. Thank you. I know it's hard to stop. Give me some character names that you guys got.
Mr. Summers made the slips of paper and he put them in the black box and locked it up.
Good. Very nice detail from the story. Who can summarize in 2 to 3 sentences what is happening right now?
So in choosing a text for a unit, I think about a number of different things. The first thing I think about is engagement. My students have not been readers before they've come to me by and large. Many of them are several years behind. So it's important to me that they have both really engaging texts, but also texts that are rigorous enough to meet their needs as well as my expectations. The best way that I found is the Common Core provides a series of Lexile levels that are recommended for 9th through 10th and then 11th through 12th grade kids. So I try to choose texts that fall within that or maybe even a little bit higher than that Lexile level, and the lottery falls right in there.
We are at the very top. Everyone has just drawn. We are trying to find out who has won the lottery, what family. Narrator, take us away.
After that, there was a long pause, a breathless pause, until Mr. Summers, holding his slip of paper in the air, said, "All right, fellows."
Something really strange is going on here. There's something very ironic about the situation that is happening now. Discuss in your groups how Miss Hutchinson's reaction is ironic. Go.
They think that somebody cheated, and that's how that person won the draw, and they feel like it had something to either do with Mr. Summers by him being over all the stuff.
Nobody wanted that. She wanted the person to draw it, like, she wanted him to take his chance to draw instead of letting someone else draw for him.
My table discussed how like their family won the lottery and they're kind of upset. And like when you win the lottery now, you're like happy, so it's like weird.
What kind of irony is it? Is it dramatic, situational, or verbal? Discussion in your groups.
It's
what
like
type of irony is it? 30 seconds, go.
It's situational, and she's screaming out dramatic.
It's situational because they didn't expect Mrs. Hutchinson to act like that.
Very nicely done. Let's keep going, guys.
There's Bill, Junior, and Nancy, and Lil Dave, and Tessie and me.
Pause. How many people are in this family currently? Show me on your hands. Show me on your hands. How many people are in this family currently? If you have 5 on your hand, you are absolutely right. Underline them, please, in your text. In the family right now, Tina, who's in the family?
Bill, Junior, Nancy, Little Dave, Tessie, and me.
Good. But how many children do they have? Hands. Back to the text in your groups. How many children do they have? How many do you know? 30 seconds, go. Back to the text.
Oh, it's 5. Yep. See, Don and Eva, and then Bill, Junior, Nancy, and Little Dave. It's 5.
What is it?
Up here, see? Daughters, Joe, their family, see?
Daughters, well, it's not Bill James.
Daughters Joe with their husband's family. You
Bill
know,
Jr.
there's Don and Eva. That's a whole different person talking. That's Miss Hutchinson talking. That's not Bill. That's 2 different people. It gotta be 4 then.
Leander, tell me how many children are actually belonging to the Hutchinsons?
Thank you. 4.
Why? What does the text say?
It said my daughter draws with her husband's family. That's only fair.
In terms of Common Core, what I focused on the most today was simply text-based evidence. I want kids to be able to find the exact line. I want them to say, I believe this about a character because it says right here that he did this or he acted a certain way.
Your next assignment is to please tell me how old you think Davy is, finding 3 pieces of evidence in the text that tells you so. How old is Davy? 3 pieces of text that tell you so. Underline, discuss. I'll call on anyone in 1 minute.
He told Mrs. Graves to take the little boy's hand. And they had to like put his hand and take it out for him, so he have to be like little.
And it says the child's hand, so we know that he got to be under the 11 or under.
At one point it said Davy put his hand into the box and laughed. And you know, like, since this was kind of serious, they wouldn't laugh, and that was kind of childish.
Thank you. I said that the first sentence when the second sentence when he says take the slips and keep them folded until each person has taken one, and I think that's giving him like directions, which means he's young because you don't say that to regular people.
So First of all, that was a good answer. Give Alexa some snaps. I really like how you're using the text to make these inferences. I like how you're going, this kid must be really young because this is a serious event. Who said that? Who said this is a serious event? Yeah, Trey, right? It's a serious event, but yet this little kid is laughing. Very, very good inference. Doesn't know what's going on. Let's keep going. Try it again, please. Defiant. Very nice. What does it mean to be defiant? What does Miss Hutchinson not want to do?
She does not want to draw.
Very nice. Tessie Hutchinson was in the center of a cleared space by now, and she held her hands out desperately as the villagers moved in on her.
It isn't fair.
She said. A stone hit her on the side of the head. Old Man Warner was saying,
Come on, everyone.
Steve Adams was in front of the crowd of villagers with Mrs. Graves beside him.
It isn't fair. It isn't right.
Miss Hutchinson screamed, and then they were upon her. Discuss in your groups what happens at the end of this story. Discuss, go.
Mrs. Hutchinson got stoned because when they was up there and they was pulling the 5 slips of paper, her name got pulled, so she was the one who was gonna die.
Discuss in your groups what hints does the author give us that this is going to be the end of this story. Discuss.
Like the way she kept saying it isn't fair. Because like when you're in a lottery, if you win, you're not supposed to say it isn't fair. You're like happy that you won.
She snatched the paper out and held it behind her.
Very nice. Which tells us what, Sean?
That she really didn't want to do it.
Very nicely done. And that actually is a really good lead-in to the clues that were actually there, because our 1 of 3-part series is on symbolism today. Please, in your notes, last page of this week says symbolism. There are a couple of ways to find them. One is to look for objects, ideas, or names that repeat. And we've already talked about this a little. Can someone give me an example from the story Bang of an object or name that repeats that became a symbol?
Jason's toy soldiers.
What do those end up symbolizing?
That Jason was, the spirit was still lurking, maybe, but it was really the dad.
Good. The other way to locate symbols is simply to ask yourself, what are the characteristics of these objects, etc.? I'm saying objects, etc. just because objects, ideas, or names.
I think the stone symbolized death.
I would definitely agree with you. Unfortunately for you, I chose the easy symbol. But there are 7 or 8 very significant symbols in this story. I want to start us off by brainstorming objects, ideas, or names that repeat in this story. Please, in your groups, take about 3 minutes and brainstorm that. Go back to the text, find anything that could be a symbol. Go. We're focusing on symbolism in this unit, and if they can't find the symbol and find that textual evidence before they tell me what it symbolizes, then it's not actually a symbol. It's just them thinking big thoughts. And I love big thoughts, but ultimately they need to be able to back those thoughts up in the text.
I see Old Man Warner because he symbolizes the past, because at the beginning he was thinking that the lottery never changed until now instead of started getting younger people, and he was grumpy, he didn't like it anymore.
Though, man, at the beginning when he went to go get his paper, he said 60-something years, and he was like, yeah.
60-something?
70-something years, and he was like, yeah, 70. And I was like, what sense does that make?
What sense does it make, Cumbria?
I thought he was, at the beginning, I was like, you've been losing for 7, but actually he was not getting stoned 70-something. I was like, oh.
Very nice connection. Guys, unfortunately, we are out of time. We will dive back into symbols deeply tomorrow. I got a very, very quick exit tickets for us today. It's going to take us about 2 minutes, but I need desks cleared before I give it to you. I need you to tell me what the fruit symbolizes and use textual evidence to back it up. The fruit symbolizes blank because it says in the poem blank. We'll read the poem together in 10 seconds. I want you to have a hint. This poem was written during the Civil Rights Movement. Strange fruit. Southern trees bear a strange fruit. Blood on the leaves and blood at the root. Black bodies swinging in the southern breeze. Strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. Pastoral scene of the gallant South. The bulging eyes and the twisting mouth. Scent of magnolia sweet and fresh, and the sudden smell of burning flesh. Here's a fruit for the crows to pluck, for the rain to gather, for the wind to suck, for the sun to rot, for a tree to drop. Here's a strange and bitter crop. What is the fruit?
From the exit ticket, I will be able to see whether or not they actually are able to easily pull a symbol from a short text and analyze it in terms of textual evidence. If they're doing that really well, tomorrow they will independently do that with the lottery. If they aren't doing that well yet, then we'll have to do a couple more examples together in class.
Thank you, Jada. Very good thoughts from you today, ma'am. You're right.
Yay!
Bye, guys.